How do you know I'm not a gangster or used to be a gangster? I've been in the music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters.
Mathew Knowles is done staying quiet, and this time, he's not keeping it cute or cleaning up messes in the background. The man who built Destiny's Child from the ground up is now allegedly taking aim at JayZ, and the trigger? A messy paternity case that just won't die. And in the middle of it all? A daughter who never asked to be dragged through this drama, yet her name keeps popping up in the headlines like clockwork. Insiders close to the Knowles circle say Mathew has reached his limit with all the Carter chaos. He feels it's staining Beyoncé's legacy. And word is, he's telling her behind closed doors that it might be time to cut ties. This ain't just a dad being protective. This is someone who's had a front row seat to decades of pressure, power plays, and secrets. And now he's fed up. Rumors are flying that Mathew sees JayZ's current allegations not as harmless gossip, but as a full-blown reputation crisis.
Who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it, I really thought it was going to go different than.
And now he's allegedly pushing Beyoncé to think long and hard about separating her brand, her kids, and her peace from the man whose past might be coming back to haunt him. Let's be clear. When Mathew Knowles, the very man who helped turn Beyoncé into a global icon, starts hinting that he's ready to spill tea, that's not just drama. That's a straight-up declaration of war. And here's the kicker. The timing is wild. Just as JayZ tries to fight off a lawsuit tying him to Diddy's disturbing legal mess, a familiar ghost steps back into the spotlight. Ramir Satwa, he's the man who's been fighting since he was a teen to prove that JayZ, aka Sean Corey Carter, is his real father. For over a decade, this story was buried deep in courtrooms and hush-hush interviews. But now, new DNA test orders are threatening to blow the whole thing wide open. Ramir says JayZ's legal team didn't just avoid a court-ordered test. He claims they intentionally played dirty. From faking info on property records to hiding behind sealed documents, he believes they straight up buried the truth in red tape.
Only say as a father that I hope I instill with them the values that they would want to look for in a man. And I think I did when Beyoncé wrote on her, I think it was her first album, maybe it was the second one, the song Daddy, that she hoped that she found someone just like her daddy.
And now that Wanda, Ramir's mom, has passed and can't speak for herself, her old affidavit, where she says she and JayZ had a fling when she was just 16, is being pulled back into the spotlight. But this time under serious scrutiny. This could be the final crack in JayZ's image as a respected mogul, father, and husband. Because if that DNA test proves what Ramir's been saying for years, this isn't just about a wild past. It's about someone possibly running from responsibility for decades. That's reportedly where Mathew Knowles draws the line. Insiders say he's furious that Beyoncé's been left to clean up the mess, shielding the kids from nasty headlines and whispers at school, all while JayZ stays silent, hoping the media storm just fades away. But it's not fading this time, not with the stakes this high and not with Mathew allegedly ready to drop receipts. Word is he's sitting on messages between JayZ's legal crew and Wanda's side that could expose a pattern of threats and strategic delays to kill the case. Now the big question?
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right?
What else is Mathew Knowles hiding? Sources claim if Beyoncé won't take action, he will. Rumors say he's got info on secret settlements, shady backroom talks, and even a long-whispered blackmail fund, a hidden stash of hush money that could blow everything sky high. Word on the street is JayZ's been keeping a secret stash, a so-called hush fund, ready to kill scandals before they ever see daylight. That's what former Rockefeller insiders are saying, and one even described it as a panic vault built for moments just like this. No receipts have surfaced yet, but the pattern is hard to ignore. Cases getting dropped out of nowhere, NDAs popping up right when things heat up, and lawyers suddenly backtracking in court. One New Jersey attorney even admitted to giving false info about JayZ's property ownership, a move that allegedly let him dodge a paternity test and got the whole case tossed. According to Ramir's guardian, Lily Coley, it wasn't a legal mistake, it was fraud, plain and simple. And now, with JayZ's name being dragged into Diddy's legal disaster, including that chilling accusation involving a minor back in 2000, people are done being quiet. Insiders say Mathew Knowles sees where this is heading, and the whisper is, he's already lining up a legal strike of his own. If Beyoncé decides to stay silent, folks in LA believe Mathew might go rogue, dropping emails, documents, or even sworn affidavits that could shake JayZ's empire from the top down. Let's not act brand new. This isn't JayZ's first dance with controversy. In 1999, he barely avoided jail time after stabbing someone in a Manhattan nightclub. And then there's that messy, long-rumored triangle involving Damon Dash and Aaliyah, a situation that still makes people uncomfortable. Back then, whispers swirled that Aaliyah distanced herself from JayZ and chose Dash instead. That overlap in timelines, the awkward tension, and that lingering sense of unfinished business has never really gone away. It clings to JayZ's name like cologne in a sealed-up room. And now, as Ramir's accusations heat up and Diddy's downfall plays out in real time, fans are starting to open their eyes and ask the real question. What's been hiding in plain sight this whole time? Because if there's any truth to this hush money theory, this isn't just a betrayal of Beyoncé. It's a betrayal of the whole story that made JayZ who he is. The narrative of a man who beat the odds, rose from Marcy Projects, and built a billion-dollar empire on hustle and talent. That story starts to look a whole lot different when secrets and silence are part of the foundation. That polished image of JayZ, the mogul who made it from the streets to the suites, starts to fall apart if his rise was secretly fueled by slick lawyers, twisted paperwork, and a never-ending bag of hush money. And that's exactly what's got Mathew Knowles heated. A longtime family friend says Mathew's fed up, not just for Beyoncé's sake, but because he thinks it's time to put some real distance between her legacy and JayZ's alleged mess. Because let's be real, what happens if more people like Ramir start stepping forward? What if that secret stash of money runs dry? Mathew might not be aiming directly at JayZ, but insiders say his message couldn't be clearer. Step away now or get buried under your own secrets. And paternity? That's just the beginning. The whispers are getting louder, and they say Mathew's not the only one sitting on receipts. A former Rockefeller insider is claiming there's a stockpile of old messages and files that could connect some serious dots. Links between JayZ, Diddy, and the murky, off-the-record side of the music world. The kind of parties and favors folks hoped would never come to light. And what about Beyoncé? Still no statement. No subtle Instagram move. Not even a cryptic lyric or post. Just total silence. But this isn't the calm kind of quiet. This feels like the center of a storm that's about to rip wide open. Because if Mathew does go public, and if that court-ordered DNA test finally happens, and if Ramir's claims are proven true, then what else comes tumbling out with him? What names? What money trails? What favors? What sealed-up court files just waiting to crack open? JayZ's legal squad may have kept things on lock for years, but now, it's Beyoncé's silence that's making all the noise. Not one peep from her inner circle, no denials, no explanations, nothing. And in the celebrity world, silence like that isn't peace, it's strategy. Industry insiders are already buzzing that her PR team is working overtime, quietly preparing for every possible outcome. Think war room vibes, social media on lockdown, comments scrubbed, and public appearances suddenly dropping off the map with no warning. People aren't just watching the headlines now, they're watching her. And the question hanging in the air? Is Beyoncé stalling? Or is she setting the stage for a clean break? Fans were quick to notice Beyoncé's absence from not one, but two major industry events this season. No red carpet walk, no video message, not even a casual behind-the-scenes selfie from her glam squad. Instead, Her Instagram turned straight cryptic. A dove photo, a captionless carousel, and a Destiny's Child throwback. Just Beyoncé, no JayZ, no kids, nothing but vibes. The Bayhive lost their minds. Was she sending a message? Was this shade or a soft launch of something bigger? One insider close to her stylist spilled that she's reevaluating everything. And let's be real, that didn't sound like wardrobe talk. That sounded like life decisions. Behind the scenes, this drama runs deep. Sources say the rift between Mathew Knowles and JayZ didn't start with a DNA test. This tension goes way back. This ain't just legal beef, it's personal. Mathew, who crafted Beyoncé's entire image long before Roc Nation touched her career, never gave JayZ the public love he gave to her earlier collaborators. He always kept his distance. And now, it's starting to make sense. People close to the Knowles circle say Mathew's been suspicious for years, whispering that JayZ's rise came with a dark side nobody wanted to question. Now, that darkness is crawling into daylight. Legal filings, sealed docs, and quiet rumors that are getting too loud to ignore. The courtroom isn't just a possibility anymore. It's looking like the next battleground. And trust, if Mathew steps onto that field, he's bringing a stacked Rolodex and a take-no-prisoners attitude. JayZ's legal squad has always played hard, but some are saying the playbook's catching up to them. The Ramir case is like a blueprint of legal gymnastics, bouncing jurisdictions, burying records, shaky testimony, and motion after motion meant to stall the truth. But one hearing in particular has people raising eyebrows high. JayZ's lawyer straight up gave false info about his real estate, a mistake that just so happened to excuse Jay from taking a court-ordered DNA test. That's not a clerical error. That's a get-out-of-court free card. And now, Ramir's side is calling it what it looks like, fraud. They're accusing JayZ's camp of running a dirty defense, not just bending the law, but breaking it. For years, this battle's been played like a cold chess game, stalling, dodging, sealing up motions. But now, the board is shifting, and it looks like checkmate might finally be coming. But now? Things just got way more personal. According to a new court filing and insiders connected to the case, Ramir Satterwhite isn't just saying he might be JayZ's biological son. He's now claiming JayZ has known the truth all along. That one bombshell flips the whole situation on its head. We're not just talking about legal dodging anymore. We're talking about decades of silence that cuts deep. Sources say JayZ allegedly made a choice. Not to fight the claim, not to confront it, but to keep it at a distance and pretend it never existed. If that's true, it doesn't just paint JayZ as someone avoiding courtroom drama, it paints him as a man who purposely erased his own child. That accusation hits like a lightning bolt, especially considering the loving father image he's projected for years, smiling in photos with Blue Ivy, Rumi, and Sir side by side with Beyoncé. Now people are asking, has JayZ been living a double standard, publicly celebrating one family while quietly turning his back on another? That kind of selective fatherhood doesn't just feel cold, it feels devastating. Fans are now revisiting his lyrics, those family-focused interviews, and all that talk about building legacy. And suddenly, it all feels different. If Ramir's story checks out, this isn't about avoiding a lawsuit. This is about emotional abandonment. A kid left hanging, searching for answers in a world where his supposed father is a billionaire icon, but to him, just a ghost. And let's not forget the toll on Ramir's late mother, who, according to reports, carried this burden by herself until the day she died. Allegedly knowing JayZ was the father, but never getting justice or recognition for her son. Ramir says while JayZ was stacking up Forbes covers and billion-dollar deals, he was stuck dealing with grief, court battles, and years of identity confusion, all while watching the man he believes is his father be praised by the world, yet never once look his way. Psychologists familiar with this type of rejection say the impact can leave scars that last a lifetime, especially when the other parent is gone. This goes way beyond money or fame. Ramir's not chasing headlines, he's chasing closure. And if his claims are true, he's been denied it at every single turn. This latest twist doesn't just put a spotlight on JayZ, it also throws serious shade on Beyoncé's own position in all this. If JayZ did know about Ramir and kept it hidden, Then the betrayal didn't stop at an alleged son. It spread into his marriage and shook the very core of their family. So now people are asking, did Beyoncé ever know? Did she question it and get shut down? Or is she finding out like everyone else? Live under the global microscope? No matter the answer, the emotional fallout is massive. What once looked like silence from JayZ might not be some calculated legal play. It might be straight-up guilt. And if that guilt becomes impossible to deny, this won't just hit his public image. It could tear his marriage apart from the inside. And that's what has fans holding their breath. The thought that beneath the mansions, yacht trips, and flawless holiday photos, there's a crack that started decades ago and never healed. Ramir's claim that he was knowingly ignored adds a whole new layer. It strips the glitz and shows a human side that's hard to ignore. He wasn't out here trying to blow up a billion-dollar empire. According to him, he was just trying to find his dad. And after years of blocked calls, sealed documents, and unanswered questions, the most painful truth isn't in a legal document. It's in the silence that followed him everywhere. Meanwhile, JayZ is also catching heat from another direction. His name getting dragged into a separate lawsuit connected to Diddy's crumbling empire. One case, two powerhouses. Decades of business ties now being examined under a whole new light. What used to be a headline for its flashy billionaire lifestyle is now being investigated for something way darker. And if courts decide that the truth was covered up using cash and connections, JayZ's kingdom, Rock Nation, title, the brand deals, everything, could become toxic overnight. That clean-cut mogul image, suddenly under review. And where does that leave Beyoncé? Stuck in an impossible position with the whole world watching. Does she stand by her man for the sake of the family? Or does she protect herself and her kids from the fallout? As a mother, her instinct might be to shield her children. But as a global brand, as Beyoncé, staying quiet could be seen as turning a blind eye. One former PR executive who worked with her back in her early solo days put it plain and simple. Beyoncé knows the power of a story. If she's not saying anything, it's because she's waiting to say everything. Some say Beyoncé's just waiting on that DNA test before making her next move. Others believe she's already checked out emotionally, quietly backing away from a man she might not even recognize anymore. And while she stays silent, the Knowles versus Carter tension is reaching a breaking point. Insiders close to Mathew Knowles claim he's done playing protector. If that DNA test confirms Ramir's story, he's reportedly sitting on a full-on dossier packed with receipts. We're talking legal memos, meeting notes, and even private backstage footage. And if what he's holding is legit, it won't just rattle JayZ's image, it could explode the entire Carter legacy. The couple once seen as untouchable, music's power pair, might be heading straight into a historic meltdown. Raw, public, and possibly irreversible. Hollywood's had its fair share of scandals, sure, but this feels different. It's not just a moment, it's a slow-motion collapse of trust, image, and everything they spent decades building. And if the dominoes keep tipping, if one paternity test unlocks more secrets, sparks more lawsuits, triggers more insiders to speak up, then the man once crowned hip-hop's kingmaker could end up losing it all. Not because of a headline, but because of the truth he allegedly spent years and millions trying to bury. So now the question gets real. If the DNA results come back in Ramir's favor, can JayZ survive the firestorm that follows? Will Beyoncé finally break her silence? Or will she walk away and take control of her own story? And just how far is Mathew Knowles willing to go to protect his daughter? And maybe even rewrite everything we thought we knew about this empire. The cracks are getting wider, the silence is louder than ever, and the truth? It could be one court ruling away from turning the Carter dynasty into dust. So what do you think? Is this the end of music royalty as we know it? Drop your thoughts, stay locked in, and watch that throne, because it might not be standing for much longer.